Okay, east is dealer, east-west are vulnerable, north-south are not. So east to bid first. Okay, so east has got an interesting hand. We've got 7 points in total and a 6-4-2-1 shape. And importantly, we've got a good quality 6-card suit. So when you have a 6-card suit or longer of reasonable quality, you can open a preemptive bid. That's assuming you haven't got enough points to open one, which we don't. So we can open a weak 2 here in hearts. This is kind of a classic weak 2. Good quality heart suit, not enough points to open one, but a good quality 6-card suit. 6-4 is actually quite a good shape. It's not 6-3-2-2. 6-4-2-1 is actually much better because it's more distributional. So yeah, this is kind of quite a solid weak 2. Definitely the right thing to do to open 2 hearts. Now to south. Okay, well, it's probably not going to take me long to work out what to bid with this hand. 4-3-3-3, which is the worst shape, absolutely balanced and flat, and 1 point. So absolutely nothing to say. You pretty much never be bidding on this hand unless your partner forced you to bid with a double, or you were doing level at the fit or something like that. So this is a straightforward pass. Now to west, responding to their partner's weak 2. Okay, what have we got here? We've got 16 points in total. Quite a nice shape, 5-4-2-2. Quite importantly, we have 2 hearts with an honour, so that's a nice fit for our partner's weak 2. So we know we have a heart fit, because our partner has 6, we have 2. So the question mark is whether we can make game or not. So partner has sort of 5 to 10-ish points for their weak 2. We have 16, so if our partner's nearer the top, sort of 8, 9, 10-ish, we think we can make game. If they're more like 5, we probably don't want to be in game. So we need to ask them, are they minimum or maximum for their weak 2 bid? Now your instinct might be to bid 3 hearts. This would be kind of a natural way of going bid 4 with a few more points. The problem with that is we use 3 hearts as a level of the fit bid, so this wouldn't invite them to bid more. This would say, I have a weak hand with 3 hearts with you. So we need a way of inviting them to bid game, asking them, are they minimum or maximum? This is where you use a conventional bid known as the 2 no trumps enquiry. It's after a weak 2 opening bid. We bid 2 no trumps here, and it says, I have a good hand, which is usually about 16 points or more, and I have a fit for your suit, which is 2 cards or more. Are you minimum or maximum for your weak 2? Because I think we can make game if you are maximum. So that's 2 no trumps. It's alertable because it's a conventional bid, and it asks the weak 2er to describe whether they're min or max for their original bid. Okay, now to north. Okay, interesting hand for north here. They've got 9, 10, 16 points in total. Not often you will have a very good hand in this bidding scenario. Usually the weak 2er has kind of 5 to 10-ish. This hand has 16 or more. Normally we're passing throughout here because this hand is so strong. West has got a good hand, is what we know from this 2 no trump bid. However, we have a good hand. We know our partner won't have a very good hand, but we not only have a good hand points-wise, we have good distribution. We've got a really nice club suit here. So we're definitely bidding on this hand. We've got to bid on these kind of hands. Even though our partner might have nothing, we've got to get involved with these clubs. And the worst case scenario is we win 7 clubs and a heart. That's like absolute worst case scenario. So even in 3 clubs we'll be 1 off in the worst case scenario. So I'm just wondering whether we should be bidding more clubs, jumping to maybe 3, 4 clubs or 5 clubs maybe. But I'm thinking we're not quite preemptive enough for that. Our hand is almost too good to just jump to 4 or 5 clubs. So I'm thinking we just bid 3 clubs. The worst thing that will happen is our partner will at least lead as a club. That's the minimum. Best case scenario, our partner can support our clubs and we might have a sacrifice on in 5 clubs rather than letting them make 4 hearts, for example. So certainly bidding on this hand. Not often you will bid at this scenario, but this hand is so good points-wise and distribution-wise that we're definitely worth a bid here. So I'd be bidding 3 clubs. Okay, so back to the weak 2er. Now, as previously mentioned, it's unusual for this hand to intervene with our kind of conventional inquiry bid. But given that it's only 3 clubs, we can sort of ignore it because we probably weren't going to bid 3 clubs anyway ourselves. So we can kind of carry on as normal, albeit we do need to be aware that they've probably got a fair few clubs over there. So this 2 no trump inquiry says I have a heart fit and I've got a good hand, 16 plus points. So we have to decide, do we think this is minimum or maximum? If we go purely on points, we've got kind of 5 to 10 points for this bid. We have 7. 7 is nearer 5 than it is 10, so therefore this will be considered minimum on points alone. However, distribution for me merits us upgrading this to actually being a maximum. 6-4 is a really good shape, and not only that, we've got our points in our suits, that also is good. So for me this is actually a maximum weak 2, albeit I agree it's close to the mark. So we need to decide how kind of complex or fancy we want to be in response to this two-note trump inquiry. There's two ways, two schools of thought. Simplistic, 3 hearts is minimum, 4 hearts is maximum. That's nice and straightforward. In this instance, I would just jump to 4 hearts. Or you can use other bids to describe something about your hand. So I play a system known as show a feature, which means if you are maximum, you bid 3 of a suit you have something good in outside of your trump suit. So if we were to bid 3 clubs, which we can't in this instance, 3 diamonds or 3 spades, that would say I have a maximum and I have something good here. If you're minimum, you just bid 3 of your trump suit saying not interested, thank you. So again, it depends on whether we judge this as a minimum or a maximum. For me, this is a maximum because of our distribution and the location of our points. So I would be either just jumping straight to 4 hearts, if you kind of, whatever, we'll just bid 4 hearts, or bid 3 diamonds, trying to give your partner a little bit more information. I'm maximum and I have a good diamond suit. So for me, that's better because it lets them judge whether to go for game or not in a more kind of informed position. And also, if they start preempting us in clubs, it lets your partner know where your cards are as to whether they need to double and bid on, etc. So for me, it's good if you can give more information, but it is more complex. So I wouldn't judge you if you went for the kind of 3 hearts, 4 hearts thing, minimum, maximum. That's nice and simplistic. But for me, I quite like the scientific nature of playing 3 diamonds as showing a maximum and something good in diamonds. So that's the bid I would make here. Okay, so responding to partner's overcall. Usually you want to try to bid level of the fit if you're weak, which we are definitely weak here. So it's all about how many clubs can we rely on our partner to have here. So bidding at the 3 level on their own, you would quite frequently expect 6 cards. It would be unusual if it was 5. If they did have 5 clubs, there'd be 5 very good clubs. But to be honest, it should really be 6 clubs. So if we assume 6 clubs, we've got 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. Therefore, we can bid to the 3 level. 9 tricks is 3. So we're already at the level of the fit. So the only alternative, the only kind of other thing to consider is, do we want to push one beyond the level of the fit? Of course, they might have 7 clubs, which we don't know. But if they only have 6, do we want to push one more? So there's one thing that's in our favour, and that's the vulnerability. We are green against red. That's good vulnerability to be pushing. And the thing that's not in our favour is the shape of our hand. Yes, I know our hand's weak, it only has 1 point, but if the distribution was different, I'd be more inclined. For example, if those 2 were spades, and we were 5, 3, 4, 1, or however it would work out, then I would be more inclined, or 6, 3, 3, 1, or whatever it would work out. I'd be more inclined to be bidding clubs, pushing the boat, if you will, because of our distribution. In this instance, we have about the worst hand we could have. 4, 3, 3, 3 is bad distribution. 1 point, yes, it is in partner's club suit. But it's the distribution I don't like. We're going to have lots of quick losers is the feeling I've got. So I would probably pass. I certainly wouldn't judge you for bidding 4 clubs. I just think it's pushy based on the shape. You probably want a single turn or maybe another club or something to be pushing the boat to 4 clubs. So I think pass is the right bid, but I don't think it's an instant pass. I don't think it's as clear-cut as you might think it is. But I do think pass is the right thing based on our poor shape. Okay, back to West now. So partner has, if we're playing show a feature, which it looks like we are, partner has shown us a maximum hand with a good feature, a good card if you like, something good, in the diamond suit. That is about the dream response we could have had. Partner has shown us a good hand for their week 2, so we know they're towards the top of their range, and they have a good card / good cards in the suit that we have a long suit in. So it feels to me like we're going to draw the trumps and then run all our diamonds. That's how the hand's going to play, is what it feels like. Them having good diamonds means we actually have a double fit. We've got a fit in diamonds and we've got a fit in hearts. So it's looking very, very good with regards to prospect of tricks. Slam probably isn't on, because even if our partner has a maximum of, let's say, 10 points, Slam won't be on because we only have 16. So it feels like we're probably going to have a loser in trumps and a loser in clubs, or maybe a slow loser in spades and a slow loser in clubs, or something. It's unlikely we're going to be able to make 12 tricks, just on the sheer lack of points, to be honest. Especially given that they've bid clubs. We might even have 2 quick losing clubs, for example. So I'm just going to bid 4 hearts. I'm not going to investigate Slam. I'm certainly not signing off in 3 hearts. The diamond bid is perfection with regards to this hand. It fits the suit we want it to fit and the maximum. So I'm going for game in hearts, and I'm thinking we're probably going to have a nice easy time. Draw the trumps, run the diamonds, or something like that. So straight to 4 hearts to try and end the bidding there. Okay, so West has jumped to 4 hearts. It looks like they liked their partner's diamond bid, showing a maximum with feature in diamonds. So now we've got a consideration here as North. Partner has not supported us. So As far as we're concerned, partner has no clubs, no points. That's obviously a very pessimistic view, but it's probably somewhat realistic. We know they have a heart fit, so partner is very likely to have, let's say, a club or a couple of clubs, but they certainly won't have much help with regards to high card strength. So if we imagine we're on our own in 5 clubs, let's presume we have no club losers. The ace, king, queen mops the suit up, which is very likely. We've got 1 diamond loser, probably 2 spade losers, and a heart loser. So in total, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 losers. So if we're playing on our own in clubs, we're likely to make, let's say, 9 tricks. That's probably fair. We might lose an extra spade if both ace and king of spades are in this hand, but that kind of can't be true based on their week 2. So I think it's very likely we lose 2 spades, a diamond, and a heart. So we're going to make 9 tricks there or thereabouts. So in 5 clubs, if we make 9 tricks, let's presume they're going to double us. We're going to go 2 off. 5 clubs needs 11. We can only make 9, and that's assuming partner can't help us, of course. But let's make that assumption. So we're going to make 9 tricks in clubs. We need 11, so we'll be 2 off. 2 off doubled, not vulnerable. That's an important thing, that we're not vulnerable. Doubled, not vulnerable is 300, whereas they are going to make 620 or more in 4 hearts. So the only other thing to think about, that looks like an obvious 5 club bid now. We're going to save 300 points by playing in clubs instead of hearts. The only thing to think about is, are they definitely going to make 4 hearts? And the answer is pretty much yes. We're going to make a club, maybe 2 clubs if we're really lucky, if they break, perfectly evenly, but probably not, let's be honest. And we're going to make a heart for certain, but then the rest of the tricks we're probably not going to make anything. The opponents have got good diamonds, so it's likely our spade trick is not a trick. So we'll make 1 club, 1 heart, maybe 2 clubs, 1 heart if we're really lucky. So I think 4 hearts, they're going to walk home in 4 hearts. Not only that, I think 5 clubs is not going to be miles away. We're going to be 2 off there or thereabouts. I mean, if partner has a dream card like the king of spades, or jack of clubs, ace of diamonds, or some kind of smattering which helps us, we might even only go 1 off in 5 clubs. So I'm thinking 5 clubs is a definite correct sacrifice, especially at this vulnerability. We can afford to go 3 off, doubled and not vulnerable, and still be better. 3 off would be 500, assuming they double, and they're going to make 620 at least. So even 3 off's okay. So even if we make 8 tricks, it's still a good sacrifice. Don't just make a sacrificial bid just because you don't want to defend their contract. You must calculate whether you think they're going to make their contract or not. We would feel very silly if we bid 5 clubs, got doubled, went off, and then found out that their 4 heart contract was also going off. In this instance, we can be pretty sure they're going to make 4 hearts because we just don't have enough defensive tricks ourselves. So therefore, I think this is a clear-cut 5 club bid. You could have argued, well, why didn't you bid 5 clubs over 2 no trumps? Yeah, I mean, it's a fair argument. They might not have found out the minimum maximum thing. But I think it was right to bid 3 clubs first to let our partner know we have strength as well as long clubs. If we jumped to 5 clubs, that would have been a hand with lots of clubs and not necessarily points. So I'm going to bid 5 clubs because I think they're going to make this, and I think we're not going to be too bad if we get doubled because we're only going to go a couple off. Okay, so back to the week 2 hand. We shouldn't really be bidding anymore. We've got a week 2, which is what we've said we've got, and we've got a good card in diamonds, or good cards in diamonds, and towards the top of our range. So I don't think this decision is up to us. We've described what we have. Our partner is the one to decide whether to bid 5 hearts, whether to double, or do something different. So because we have nothing more to say, I will be passing. The only time we'd really be taking action here is if we had something really extra to say, like we were 6-5, or we had really good clubs and we wanted to double them, or something really weird. In this instance, we don't have anything extra to say, so let's leave the decision to our partner. So South's passed, the partner of the 5 club bid has passed because they've got nothing to say. So now it's down to the decision of West. West is probably somewhat irritated by this 5 club bid because it's quite obviously a sacrificial bid. We have the points, we have kind of 25-ish between the 2 of us. So North just appears to have distribution. They have lots of clubs. They're sacrificing against our 4 heart contract. It looks like we're going to make 4 hearts because we could probably lose, a club and a heart, or a club and a spade, or something in that iteration. 5 hearts is starting to get questionable. If we imagine our partner has, let's say, ace, king of hearts, queen of diamonds, which is about the maximum perfection hand, we might still have 2 losers. We might lose a slow spade and maybe a couple of clubs, or maybe they don't quite have the king of hearts and we have a king of hearts loser. Doubt is starting to creep in as to whether we can make 11 tricks. 10 tricks was probably pretty safe. 11 tricks is getting dodgy now. This is a really fine decision point here. If West bids 5 hearts and they go off, that really is bad because we know 5 clubs is very likely going off. If instead West doubles and 5 clubs goes, let's say, 2 off, we might have missed our 600 scoring game and instead only scored 300 to take them off. So you could argue either direction. Double is right because we don't know 5 hearts is making, or bid 5 hearts because we want to get our vulnerable game. This is why North's bid is good. The vulnerability is really annoying for us because we want to really be in 4 hearts and we can't. So we have to defend 5 clubs doubled, or we have to bid 5 hearts. There are 2 options. And to be honest, it's really close. It's really, really close. I think there's probably 2 losers, but there might be 3. So it's really close. The thing that's probably going to push me to bid 5 hearts is the fact that our partner has bid diamonds, which is kind of the thing that makes me think this hand is going to play nicely. Because we have 2 fits, we have a heart fit and a diamond fit. Whenever you have a double fit, you really want to declare the hand, because what happens in a double fit is you draw the trumps and you play your winning diamonds, or winning whatever your suit is. In this instance, our side suit is diamonds. The risk of bidding 5 hearts is the opponents cash 2 clubs, and then they cash, let's say, the ace of hearts. That would be the worst case scenario, if partner has like king, jack of hearts, queen, jack of diamonds, and the queen of spades, or something like that. So the opponents can just go club, club, heart, and just take us straight off. It's pretty pessimistic. It's probably quite likely that we can wrestle control of the hand and probably make 11 tricks, albeit I am uncertain. Given the vulnerability, I'm going to push for the vulnerable game bonus, but I accept that 5 hearts is risky. The only thing that's making me do it is the double fit. Diamonds and hearts being fitted is really good. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for 5 hearts, but it is pushy. And you could, at the end of the hand, think, oh, I'm so silly, I should have doubled 5 clubs because 5 hearts went 1 off and 5 clubs was going 2 or 3 off. But it's just the way it is. This is why North's 5 club bid is so good. But I am going to push, just for that vulnerable game. I'm going to push to 5 hearts. Okay, so we've achieved one of the 2 things we wanted there. North's 5 club bid, our 5 club bid, was designed to either push them up or play in clubs and get doubled and lose less points than them making 4 hearts. So we've achieved one of those things, which is we push them up. We might be tempted to bid 6 clubs on the back of, well, if they're going to make 5 hearts, then we'll be doubled and we'll only be off 3 and 6 clubs, etc., etc. But I don't think there's a certainty they're making 5 hearts anymore. They were almost certainly making 4 hearts, but we might have 3 defensive tricks in against 5 hearts. We've certainly got, I would like to think, a club and a heart are pretty certain. We might have a slow spade trick or an extra club trick, depending on the club break. So I don't think 6 clubs is right, because we don't know 5 hearts was making. 5 clubs over 4 hearts was right, because we're pretty certain 4 hearts is making, whereas 5 hearts is probably on the knife edge now. So I would pass and hope to defeat 5 hearts. I wouldn't double 5 hearts, because I'm not certain. But it's pretty close. It is pretty close. Certainly not 6 clubs though, so I'll be passing now in the hope that pushing them up 1 has actually pushed them to an unsafe contract. Okay, so everyone passed 5 hearts out, and now we're around to South, who's got to lead against 5 hearts. You would really be shocked if you didn't lead a club here. Your partner's bid clubs twice. They've obviously got really good clubs. Now I know the opponents are going to be short in clubs, but there is absolutely no reason to lead anything other than a club here. Your partner's basically asked for a club lead twice. So it's definitely right to lead clubs. Not only that, we haven't got anything else attractive going on. We've not got an ace-king, we've not got a singleton, we've not got anything that might merit us looking away from a club lead. Given that we have an honour in clubs, we should lead a low one, albeit I don't think the clubs are going to go around too many times, because our partner should have probably 7, maybe 8 clubs. So they're probably going to go around once-ish. But we should still tell our partner what's going on in the club suit. So I'd lead low, and it looks to me like the defence is going to be on our partner. We're probably just going to be following suit and not doing anything too impactful. But I would lead a club, and let's see if they can take 3 tricks and take them off. Okay, so let's see the dummy. Right, so looking in the trump contract, we want to try to look at our potential losers and see how we can reduce them. So we are quite pleased with the dummy, to be honest. We've got nice diamonds, we've got 2 top spades to win those spade losers. So the only consideration, really, the only problem is a losing club and a losing heart. If you just look kind of at an initial analysis, diamonds are good, hearts are good apart from the ace, spades are fine because we have the ace-king, we've got this losing club. So it actually looks like this hand is kind of going to play itself. It needs to get rid of the ace of hearts, draw the trumps, and then run the diamonds. There's nothing we can rough on the dummies, there's no reason not to draw the trumps, and in fact we want to draw the trumps because then we can enjoy this lovely diamond suit. The only potential threat is some kind of mishap in the diamonds. They win the ace of hearts, then someone leads a diamond, and then they can get a diamond ruff. So they would win a club, ace of hearts, and then trump a diamond. That might be a 3rd defensive trick for the opponents. But other than that, I feel like we're pretty safe in this 5 heart contract. Lose the ace of hearts, lose a club, but then the rest should be ours. We've got to draw the trumps because we need to draw the trumps before running all these diamonds. It looks to me like the opponents haven't led diamonds, so they're not going to get a diamond ruff. The diamonds could be 2-2, of course, in which case there never is a diamond ruff. So it looks to me like we're going to win a club, probably play another club which we can trump, then knock out the ace of hearts. They play whatever they play, we win, and then draw the trumps. King of hearts, jack of hearts, 10 of hearts, etc. A 5-0 heartbreak would really hurt us, but that's quite unlikely. A 4-1 heartbreak we can deal with because we have king, queen, jack, 10. So the queen loses to the ace, let's say, and the king, jack, 10 will draw the remainder of the trumps. So this hand is kind of going to play itself. Get rid of the ace of hearts, draw the trumps, run the diamonds. Whenever you're going to draw the trumps in a trump contract, just worth noting that if you are going to draw the trumps, you need to be thinking, what suit am I playing next? Don't just draw the trumps because that's what you do. You should draw trumps with the view of, I'm going to play them next. So we're drawing trumps because we want to enjoy those nice diamonds. So we're going to lose a club, probably ruff the club continuation, get rid of the ace of hearts, get back in, draw the trumps, run the diamonds. Something to that effect. So for this instance, it doesn't really matter what club we play. You can try the 10 if you like, it's not going to win because we know they've got good clubs here. So it doesn't really matter. Play the 4, see what they win with. But yeah, we're going to be playing trumps as soon as we can. Okay, so they play the queen of clubs. Remember, you play bottom of touching cards when you're following suit. Not that it particularly matters in this instance, but it's just good practice. So we lose the club. We're always going to lose that club. Nothing surprising going on there. And now the most likely continuation is the ace of clubs. The only other thing they might think about is leading this singleton diamond to void themselves of diamonds. And then, if their partner gains the lead, which is probably unlikely to be honest, but if their partner gains the lead, they can lead a diamond and they can ruff it. Unfortunately for them, if they have a quick think about the points, they had 16, dummy has 16. This hand has a good weak 2, which is probably 7 or 8, which means their partner has very, very few points, 1 or 0. So this singleton diamond defense is probably not going to work because their partner can't get the lead, is basically what I'm thinking. So I think our best defensive opportunity or chance is to try to cash another club in the hope that both hands, both declarer and dummy, have a club left. And we can cash this club and win the ace of hearts and take the 3 tricks we were hoping for. So top of touching, lead the ace of clubs. We can ruff low. No need to ruff high. It's extremely unlikely the clubs are 9-1. It's probably a slim possibility, but extremely unlikely. They would have probably bid 5 clubs earlier. So that's that. Ruff the club. And now we want to draw the trumps. We want to get rid of that ace of hearts to draw the trumps. Best to play low to the queen to get rid of highest from shortest. Unblocks the suit, just the best practice. Low heart to the queen. Now they could duck with the ace of hearts, and what they would do there is they'd strip us of hearts, which would make getting to our hand a little bit tricky. Or they could win the ace of hearts. It honestly doesn't really matter in this instance, but you might defensively think, oh, I'll duck the ace of hearts. The only time you might not do this is if your partner has jack to 3 hearts. By ducking, you are actually not getting your extra trump trick. So I think as a defender, you'd probably take your ace and hope your partner has jack X of hearts sat behind the king 10, something like that. That's not the case in this instance, but it's a possibility. So you probably would win the ace of hearts rather than ducking the heart. It's good to kill the queen with the ace, is what I'm trying to say, defensively speaking. Now an interesting defence this hand might try is another club, trying to convince declarer to trump high, to make sure they're not over-ruffed. That's an interesting defence they could try. Anything else actually relinquishes the lead to declarer. They're going to rattle the trumps, rattle the diamonds. Don't forget this hand knows that this hand bid diamonds. So they know they've got good diamonds, so the diamonds are just going to run. So the only possibility of a misplay from declarer is a club, they ruff too high and suddenly they lose control of trumps. As it happens, declarer has such good trumps that they can afford to ruff high and still draw the trumps. Imagine they didn't have the 10 and partner had the 10 instead. You might have to trump high and then you lose control because you lose the 10 of hearts. It's the only defensive chance they really have, to be honest. So the king of clubs. Now this hand knows this hand has another club, but declarer doesn't know that. That's important. Declarer is thinking, oh no, what about a club overruff? Now if declarer was watching the defence carefully, this hand led the 2 of clubs and then followed with the 8 of clubs. If they had a doubleton in clubs, they should have led the 8 and then followed with the 2. Not only that, the low club was won by the queen on the right, which would suggest they don't have the jack. So everything is pointing towards this hand starting with jack to 3 clubs. So you could argue, I'm going to confidently throw a loser away and trump this club on the dummy, or I'm going to ruff small, because I don't need to, I want the lead here. But interestingly, you might be paranoid or concerned that this defender has misled you by playing the clubs in the wrong order, or this hand has not played the queen, it played the queen instead of the jack, etc. So you might, through paranoia, play the jack 10 or king, ruffing high. But if we trust what's happened in the defence. If the defence hasn't misled us, haven't lied to us, we can afford to ruff low, knowing that this hand must have another club. It's all about how much you trust the defenders, and of course you shouldn't really trust the defenders unless you have to. This is why their bidding was so good, because they've taken 2 tricks already. If we get this decision wrong, we're going to go off in 5 hearts, which is going to be disastrous. So I can see how you might make a case for ruffing high, but by ruffing high, you're actually going to lose to a 4-1 trump break. If one opponent has 3 to the 9, you can't get the 9 of hearts off them. So I think the best thing is to trust the card play you've seen so far and throw away a losing card, ruffing over there, or indeed ruff it small so that we can play a 3 hearts here. It doesn't actually matter, but I'm going to ruff here just so we're in the right hand to then draw the trumps. But I'm ruffing low, confident, quote unquote confident, that this hand must have the jack of clubs left. There is a possibility this goes wrong if both of the defenders have conspired to lie against me. This hand pretending they had 3 clubs when they only had 2. This hand pretending they don't have the jack of clubs when indeed they did. So it's all about, you know, how much you trust them, whether you're going to take this line or the other line. Ruffing high would work when trumps are breaking 3-2 originally, which would work in this instance. Ruffing low works when the opponents have told the truth in clubs, which also works. So I actually can't go wrong, but you can see how you would have a painstaking choice here, which is why this defence is their only chance, really. So I'm going to ruff low. They follow with the jack of clubs. You breathe a sigh of relief because you realise, yes, they did tell the truth, thank God for that. If you got over ruff with the 9 there, you'd have felt very sad. But that's kind of the way it is. We win that one. And now you can see how we've got our route to success. What's going to happen in the next tricks is we're going to play the king of hearts, the jack of hearts, and if necessary, the 10 of hearts, if the trumps, all 3 missing trumps are in one hand, which they aren't in this instance, and then we have all winners. Ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds, ace, king of spades. We have too many winners, to be honest. So we've just lost the 2 tricks we thought we would, the ace of hearts and the high club. 11 tricks in total.